The galaxy had never expected Earth to strike first. The first blow had shocked empires. The second had shaken their pride. Now, the humans prepared for what would decide their place among the stars. Admiral Elias Grant stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, looking out at the incoming fleets. Countless ships moved in formation, their engines glowing like fire across the void. Every alien commander had united for one purpose: to crush Earth once and for all. Elias did not flinch. "They may outnumber us," he said quietly to his officers, "but they cannot outthink us. Every move they make, we will anticipate. Every weakness they show, we will exploit. This is our moment." His officers nodded. Humanity had trained for this. They had studied alien tactics, predicted attacks, and rehearsed every possible scenario. The Resolute Dawn was ready, but more importantly, so was humanity itself. The final battle. The first wave hit like a storm. Energy beams tore through the darkness, missiles streaked past, and fighters swarmed the Resolute Dawn. But the humans had prepared for every attack. Drones intercepted missiles. Mines detonated under enemy ships. Flares and decoys tricked sensors. For hours, the battle raged. Alien fleets advanced with raw power, yet every human counter seemed to neutralize them. The Resolute Dawn struck quickly, then vanished into the shadows of space, only to reappear at critical points and destroy key targets. Admiral Grant's strategy was simple but brilliant. Draw the enemy into zones where their numbers worked against them. Narrow corridors between asteroid fields, regions with hidden energy barriers and traps designed to split their formations. One by one, the enemy fleet faltered. Unity of humanity back on Earth, humans everywhere were united like never before. Soldiers stood ready at hidden bases. Engineers prepared new drones and weapons, and civilians maintained communication networks, supplying intelligence and support. Every person knew the stakes. The planet's survival depended on courage, creativity, and cooperation. For the first time, the divisions of history, nations, rivalries, disagreements, mattered less than the collective purpose of humanity. Even children and students contributed. Simulations and calculations done in schools and labs were shared with military planners. Ideas came from every corner of the globe, every age, every culture. Humanity had become more than individuals. It was a single, unstoppable force, breaking the enemy. The alien commanders were growing desperate. Their formations were disrupted, their ships falling one by one. Their confidence shattered as the humans continued to anticipate every move. Panic spread through their fleets. Elias saw the moment. He ordered the Resolute Dawn to target the heart of the enemy fleet, the command ships. Massive energy beams tore through enemy shields, destroying the command vessels. Without leadership, the alien fleet struggled to coordinate. Chaos replaced their confidence. Fighters collided, missiles went astray, and entire squadrons drifted powerless. Humanity had turned their numbers against them. The battle was not just fought with weapons, it was fought with intellect, courage, and strategy. Courage under fire. Inside the Resolute Dawn, the crew moved with precision. Pilots dodged beams, engineers repaired damage immediately, and soldiers maintained the ship's defenses under extreme conditions. Every person knew their role, and they performed it with courage. One young engineer risked his life to repair the main energy conduit during a critical strike. Sparks flew, systems overloaded, yet he persisted. Admiral Grant saw the effort and said quietly, "This is the spirit of humanity. Every action matters. Every life counts. This is why we cannot be broken." The crew, inspired by such bravery, worked even harder. Every successful maneuver, every calculated strike strengthened the human resolve. Victory in sight. As the hours passed, the alien fleets began to retreat. The once confident armadas were now scattered. Their pride destroyed, their numbers reduced. Humanity had survived not through raw strength alone, but through unity, intelligence, and courage. Elias Grant looked at the remnants of the battlefield. Stars glowed faintly through the debris of destroyed ships. Silence followed the chaos, a calm after the storm. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. A small young species once dismissed had not only survived, but had dominated against overwhelming odds. Humanity proclaimed. Word of the victory spread slowly through the galaxy. Neutral species, previously indifferent or hostile, began to speak of humans with respect. Merchants, explorers, and scholars told stories of a blue world that had defied the impossible. Some empires remained cautious, their anger simmering. But even among them, whispers of admiration could be heard. Humans had shown the universe that courage, creativity, and determination could overcome numbers and power. On Earth, celebrations were subdued but proud. Citizens understood the meaning of what had happened. Humanity had not only survived the first true war among the stars, they had carved a place in the galaxy, the symbol of the Resolute Dawn. The Resolute Dawn returned to Earth orbit, its hull battered but intact. For the people below, it was more than a battleship. It was a symbol of what humanity could achieve when united. Admiral Grant addressed the crew and observers. "We have proven something the galaxy did not expect. We have shown that we are not weak, not passive, and not insignificant. Our home is small, but our spirit is vast. Today, humanity steps into the stars as equals. Let this be the dawn of a new age." The crew stood together, proud yet humble. They had faced the impossible, and they had emerged victorious. They knew challenges would come again, but they had faith in themselves, in Earth, and in humanity. A new era, the galaxy slowly adjusted to the new reality. Humans were no longer dismissed as weak. Their colonies would grow, their technology would advance, and their courage would be remembered. Other civilizations, once confident in their dominance, now approached humans with care. Earth had changed. The people had changed. Humanity had proven that intelligence, courage, unity, and creativity could challenge even the strongest powers. The blue planet was small, but it held the heart of a giant. Across the stars, new opportunities arose. Humans began to explore not only for survival, but for growth, discovery, and friendship. They reached out to other species, offering cooperation rather than conquest, showing that strength could be paired with honor. Legacy of humanity. The Resolute Dawn became a legend, a story told to children and students across the world. It was a reminder that no matter how small or underestimated, humans could rise to challenges greater than themselves. Admiral Grant and his crew were celebrated, but they knew the true heroes were every person on Earth who had contributed to the effort. Every mind, every hand, every life mattered in shaping the future, and so humanity stood tall, proud, and unbroken. The first strike, once thought impossible, had changed everything. The galaxy had learned to respect Earth, and humanity had learned to trust itself. The promise as the stars twinkled above the blue planet. Admiral Grant looked out from the bridge of the Resolute Dawn. "The galaxy will challenge us again," he said softly, "but we have learned our strength. We are more than a planet. We are a people, and together we can face anything." The crew nodded, gazing at the horizon of stars. They knew the future would hold new dangers, new discoveries, and new victories. Humanity had survived its first true test among the stars, and it would continue to rise. The dawn of humanity's age had arrived. The galaxy had learned fear. What had once been a small, quiet world now loomed as a potential threat to every empire, every fleet, and every colony. Alien leaders convened in massive halls made of crystal and metal, their voices echoing with anger and disbelief. "How dare they strike first?" one commander shouted, slamming his fist on the table. "They destroy our fleet, and now they sit in silence, daring us to act." Another, older and wiser, spoke calmly. "We underestimated them before. Now we must prepare for consequences. But be warned, humans are not like other species. They are unpredictable. They learn fast, they adapt, and they fight with courage." But caution was drowned by rage. Armadas were summoned. Warships from every corner of the galaxy began moving toward human space. Dreadnoughts, cruisers, and carriers carried tens of thousands of fighters, drones, and soldiers. Their goal was clear: crush Earth before it could rise further. Earth's response on Earth, preparations were in full force. Every secret factory, every training ground, and every research facility worked day and night. Humanity knew the retaliation would be enormous, but they were ready. The Resolute Dawn had returned to orbit not to rest, but to prepare. Admiral Elias Grant studied maps and reports with his officers. Red blips filled the screens, countless enemy ships moving steadily toward the solar system. Their numbers were overwhelming. One officer asked quietly, "Can we really stand against all of them?" Elias paused, looking at the glowing blue planet below. "We do not have the numbers. We cannot match them ship for ship. But numbers are not the only measure of strength. Strategy, creativity, courage, these are weapons too. And humanity has all of them." He turned to his crew. "We will lead them into a trap. We will make them pay for underestimating us. And when the time comes, we will show the galaxy why Earth cannot be broken. The trap is set. The plan was bold. The Resolute Dawn would act as bait, drawing the massive alien fleet into a carefully prepared zone. Hidden mines, drone swarms, and energy barriers were placed along likely paths. Communication jammers would confuse enemy sensors. False signals would trick them into thinking Earth was unprepared. Every detail mattered. Humans worked tirelessly, testing every system, simulating every possible move. Engineers tweaked engines to move faster than expected. Soldiers trained to operate under extreme pressure. Every human involved understood the stakes. Failure was not an option. Meanwhile, alien fleets approached, confident in their superiority. They had never seen humans act like this. Their calculations assumed fear, hesitation, and weakness. They assumed humans would hide, surrender, or negotiate. They were wrong. First contact. The day came when the first enemy scouts entered the trap zone. At first, they reported only a single battleship, Resolute Dawn. It seemed alone, small compared to the massive fleets gathering nearby. The human crew watched silently as the alien scouts approached, unaware that they were walking into a maze of deadly surprises. The Resolute Dawn remained calm, drifting among the stars, weapons hidden but ready. Elias spoke to his officers. "Remember, they will strike first. Let them. They will reveal their weakness. Our advantage is patience and preparation. When the time comes, we will move like lightning." The battle begins. It started with the first wave of attacks. Alien weapons lit the void, beams of energy and missiles aimed at the Resolute Dawn. But the human battleship was ready. Its shields absorbed the impact, its engines moved with precision, and its weapons fired back in calculated bursts. Hidden drones swarmed from the shadows, targeting alien weapon systems and communications. Mines hidden along the fleet's path detonated with perfect timing, destroying ships before they could react. Every strike was planned. Every move anticipated. The alien commanders grew frustrated. Their numerical advantage seemed meaningless. Each ship destroyed was a reminder that humans did not fight like others. They adapted, learned, and countered in real time. Courage and sacrifice inside the Resolute Dawn, humans worked tirelessly. Pilots maneuvered drones and fighters through enemy formations. Engineers repaired damage instantly, sometimes risking their lives to reach critical systems. Soldiers maintained weapons under extreme heat and pressure. Every person on the ship understood that the battle was larger than themselves. They fought for Earth, for humanity, and for the future of their species. Each explosion, each tactical maneuver was a statement. Humans would not be broken. Elias moved through the ship, encouraging his crew. "We are doing what they said was impossible. Hold the line. Fight smart. Fight together. And remember, this is our home. Every star we protect is a promise to the generations yet to come." Turning the tide as the battle continued, the alien fleet began to falter. Their formations were disrupted by mines, drone swarms, and the unpredictable movements of the Resolute Dawn. They had never faced an opponent who could think so differently, strike so creatively, and move with such courage. For the first time, whispers of doubt spread among their crews. Some began to question orders. Others looked at the humans with a mix of fear and respect. On the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, Elias saw an opportunity. He ordered a precise strike on the heart of the fleet's command group. Massive energy beams and missile barrages targeted the enemy leaders, breaking their coordination. Chaos spread through the alien ranks. Ships collided. Missiles went astray. Panic replaced confidence. Humanity's strength, despite being outnumbered, humanity held the advantage. Their unity, creativity, and courage made up for what they lacked in sheer numbers. Each victory, no matter how small, strengthened their resolve. Each alien ship destroyed was proof that humans could not be crushed by intimidation alone. The Resolute Dawn became more than a battleship. It was a symbol of human determination, ingenuity, and defiance. Across the galaxy, those watching began to understand that Earth was not a world to be taken lightly. Victory. For now, after hours of intense combat, the alien fleet began to withdraw. Their losses were heavy. Ships that had once been symbols of power now floated as wreckage among the stars. For the humans, it was a moment of relief, but not celebration. They knew the galaxy would regroup, and the next wave would be larger. Elias stood on the bridge looking out at the remnants of the battlefield. "Today we survived," he said softly. "Today we proved that courage, intelligence, and unity can overcome fear and numbers. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy will come for us again, And when it does, we will be ready." The crew nodded, silent but proud. They had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger, united and unbroken. Humanity had struck fear into the hearts of the galaxy, and they would carry that strength into the future. Looking ahead back on Earth, leaders watched the reports and communications with pride and caution. They knew the battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Humanity had announced its arrival to the stars. Now the galaxy had noticed, and it would not forget. But for the first time, the people of Earth believed in themselves, not as fragile observers of the stars, but as active participants. They had faced the overwhelming force of the galaxy and survived. They had shown the first spark of human strength, creativity, and courage. And in the hearts of every person, one thought echoed: humanity was no longer alone. Humanity was a force. Humanity was a power that could not be ignored. The resolute Dawn drifted among the stars, battered but unbroken. Its engines hummed with readiness. Its weapons were still sharp. And its crew stood tall, ready to meet the next challenge. Because the galaxy had learned a truth that could not be denied. Earth would not bow. Earth would not surrender. And the humans of this small blue world would fight for their place among the stars no matter the cost. The stage was set for the next chapter. Humanity had survived the first retaliation, but the storm was far from over. The galaxy was never the same after the destruction of the blockade fleet. For centuries, power had been balanced among the great empires. Wars were fought, but always between equals, always within predictable limits. Then came the resolute dawn, one ship, one world, and an entire fleet reduced to ashes. News spread like fire across the stars. In the great marketplaces of alien worlds, merchants whispered of a ghost ship from Earth. In training academies, young soldiers spoke of humans who struck with impossible speed. On distant colonies, people feared the shadow of a battleship that no empire had built. To some, the story sounded like a legend, an exaggeration made to explain a lost fleet. But for those who had seen it with their own eyes, there was no doubt humanity had entered the stage, and they had not come quietly. Fear in the councils, in the grand chambers of the galactic councils. The reaction was swift and furious. How dare they? One emperor shouted. His voice echoed against the crystal walls. A young species barely walking among the stars dares to strike us? Another counselor answered, "It was not a simple attack. It was annihilation. The humans destroyed our fleet in minutes. We must treat them as a danger to all." But others were less certain. One older voice, a scholar from a distant empire, said softly, "Do not underestimate them. We believed them harmless, yet they built this ship in silence. If one battleship can do this, imagine what more they might be hiding." Arguments raged. Some demanded immediate war. Others called for caution. But one truth was clear. Humanity could not be ignored anymore. On the resolute dawn, while the galaxy argued, the resolute dawn drifted silently among the stars. Inside, Admiral Elias Grant studied the battle records. The ship had performed beyond expectations. Weapons hit with precision, shields held strong, engines moved faster than enemy sensors could track. But Elias knew this victory was only the beginning. The empires would not forget their defeat. They would gather, stronger than ever, and come for Earth. He stood at the bridge watching the stars pass by. Around him, the crew moved with quiet focus. They had seen the destruction they had unleashed. Some carried pride, others carried fear, but all understood the weight of their mission. This was not just a battle, Elias said to his officers. It was a message. The galaxy now knows our name. But messages bring answers, and theirs will come in fire. We must be ready. Whispers on Earth, the people did not yet know the full truth. Official news spoke only of a successful defense test, nothing more. But rumors spread quickly. Families of those on the resolute dawn shared quiet stories. Scientists whispered about a ship of light. Even children told tales of a great human battleship rising to the stars. Though the government tried to control the story, one thing became clear. The people felt hope. For the first time, they believed humanity was not helpless. In the secret command halls, leaders studied incoming alien transmissions. The enemy was angry, furious even, but also afraid. This fear was a weapon, but it would not last long. Soon anger would harden into action. The world prepared in silence. Resources were moved to hidden factories. New weapons were rushed into production. Soldiers trained day and night. And through it all, the shadow of the resolute dawn hung above them, a reminder of both victory and danger. The retaliation begins. The galaxy did not wait long. Weeks after the first strike, new fleets began to gather at the edges of human space. Scouts reported massive warships, dreadnoughts larger than cities, cruisers armed with entire batteries of cannons, carriers filled with swarms of fighters. The empires were not acting alone. They had united. Species that had once fought each other now prepared to march together, bound by one goal: crush the humans before they grew stronger. For them, Earth was a threat to the order of the galaxy. If one young species could rise so fast, others might follow. The balance of power would collapse. They called humanity a spark of chaos. And their plan was simple: extinguish the spark before it became a fire. The calm. Before the clash from the bridge of the resolute dawn, Elias received reports of enemy fleets on the move. Maps glowed with red markers, each representing countless ships. The numbers were overwhelming. Against such a force, even the greatest battleship would be outmatched. The officers looked to him for guidance. Some whispered of retreat, others of hiding. But Elias shook his head. "We cannot run," he said. "If we retreat, they will follow us to Earth. If we hide, they will search until they find us. The only way forward is to fight smart, not just strong. We must use what they do not expect. Our minds, our creativity, our courage." The crew nodded. Humanity had always survived not by numbers, but by ideas. And now, more than ever, they would need that spirit. Across the stars, as the alien fleets advanced, messages spread across the galaxy. Some neutral worlds watched with fascination, wondering if humanity might actually stand. Others prayed the humans would fall quickly, fearing the chaos of a new power rising. But among ordinary people, merchants, travelers, colonists, whispers of admiration grew. Stories of a small world daring to fight giants spread like legends. Even among alien soldiers preparing for war, some wondered silently, what if the humans cannot be broken? Earth prepares back on Earth. Hidden factories worked without rest. Scientists pushed machines to their limits, creating new drones, new weapons, new defenses. Soldiers trained not for survival, but for defiance. Families sent their children to serve, knowing the fight ahead would decide the future of their world. The leaders gathered once more. Maps of enemy movements filled the screens. The invasion was inevitable. One leader asked, "Can the resolute dawn stand against them all?" A general answered, "No, not alone. But it can lead and it can strike. With its strength and with the courage of our people, we may survive." Silence filled the room. Then the leader spoke again. "Then we fight. Not just to survive, but to prove who we are. The galaxy will know Earth is not a world to be conquered. We will show them what it means to be human." The promise of the dawn far above the Earth, the resolute dawn floated in orbit. Its weapons gleamed. Its engines hummed. It was not just a battleship. It was a promise. The crew gathered on the deck, looking out at the planet below. They saw the blue oceans, the green continents, the lights of countless cities. It was their home, their reason. Elias spoke quietly, but his words carried across the room. "We are outnumbered. We are outgunned. But we are not outwilled. Every human heart beats with the same fire that built this ship. And when the enemy comes, we will not bow. We will rise. For Earth, for humanity, for the dawn." The crew stood straighter, their doubts fading. They were part of something greater than themselves. The galaxy thought humanity weak. The galaxy thought humanity afraid. But soon the galaxy would learn, because the first blow was only the beginning. The galaxy was never quiet for long. Empires shifted, colonies fought for independence, and fleets moved like storms across the stars. Yet, near the edge of known space, close to Earth's sector, something unusual began to happen. At first, it was small. A trading post in a minor system went silent. Then a mining outpost stopped answering calls. Patrol ships sent to investigate found strange ruins, burnt metal, scorched ground, and traces of energy weapons not listed in galactic records. The reports caused whispers in alien halls of power. Who had destroyed those colonies? What kind of weapons had been used? And why were the wrecks so close to human space? Alien doubts in the council chambers of a great empire, leaders argued. "It is impossible," one said. "Humans do not have the power to destroy fleets. They are still crawling out of their system." Another replied, "And yet the evidence is there. The energy signatures are unknown. The damage is precise, If not humans, then who? A third voice, older and calmer, said, "Be careful. Young species are full of surprises. They do not follow the slow paths we once walked. They burn fast and they strike hard when cornered." But even after this warning, most dismissed the idea. To them, humans were clever but not dangerous. A child might carry a stick, but a stick could never cut down a giant. On Earth, far below the notice of the galaxy, Earth's leaders gathered in quiet rooms. They had seen the intercepted alien transmissions. They knew the empires were beginning to suspect. The secrecy of Project Dawn would not last forever. Inside a chamber deep beneath a mountain, generals, scientists, and politicians looked at a massive display. Across the screen was the image of their creation, Resolute Dawn. The battleship was now fully armed, its engines tested, its systems ready. One general stood and said, "We cannot wait for them to strike. If we sit in silence, they will bring their fleets to our skies. If they think we are weak, they will come as conquerors." Another voice, more cautious, answered, "But if we strike first, we invite war against the whole galaxy. They will unite and we cannot stand against all of them." The room grew quiet. The choice was heavy, but the truth was clear. Hiding forever was impossible. At some point, humanity would be discovered. The leader of the council finally spoke. "We have always survived by being bold. When danger comes, we meet it head-on. We will not wait for chains to be placed on us. If war comes, let it be on our terms." And so the decision was made. Humanity would strike first. The launch, the Resolute Dawn, was hidden in a vast underground hangar. For years, workers had built around it, covering its size with false signals and clever tricks to confuse alien watchers. But now the time for hiding was over. When the launch day arrived, only a select few were present. Engineers checked the final systems. Soldiers stood ready at their stations. Pilots secured themselves into their seats. The commander of the ship, Admiral Elias Grant, walked across the deck. His steps were steady, though his heart carried the weight of his people's future. He paused at the bridge, looking at the great vessel through the armored windows. "This ship," he said to his crew, "is more than metal. It is the spirit of humanity. We have always been underestimated. But today we step into the galaxy not as prey, but as hunters. Remember this moment. Whatever comes, the stars will know our name." The order was given. Engines roared. The earth shook. Slowly, impossibly, the Resolute Dawn rose into the night sky. From orbit, hidden alien scouts recorded the sight in shock. A ship larger than anything humans were supposed to build was lifting into space. Its hull gleamed like polished stone. Its engines burned with unnatural fire. The Watchers sent urgent messages back to their empires, warning that something extraordinary had begun. The first mission. The Resolute Dawn did not linger in Earth's orbit. Its mission was clear: strike fast, strike hard, and prove humanity's strength before the galaxy could unite against them. Its first target was a blockade fleet stationed near the border of human space. Officially, the fleet was only there to observe and maintain order. In truth, it was a warning, a silent reminder that humans were being watched and controlled. The fleet carried weapons strong enough to destroy Earth if war ever came. It was a chain waiting to be pulled tight. As the Resolute Dawn approached, the alien ships detected movement. They expected perhaps a small human craft, maybe a desperate probe. Instead, their scanners revealed a battleship larger and more advanced than anything in their records. Panic spread through the alien crews. How could this be? How had the humans built such a thing without being noticed? The commander of the alien fleet ordered, "Prepare weapons. Do not let it pass." But they were already too late. The first blow, the Resolute Dawn opened fire. Its weapons were strange and terrifying. Beams of energy that bent through space, missiles that split into swarms, cannons that hit faster than light. The alien shields, designed to withstand wars of centuries, cracked and shattered under the human assault. In minutes, entire cruisers were torn apart. Battleships that had stood as symbols of alien pride broke under the rain of human fire. The Resolute Dawn moved like a predator, striking with precision, never wasting a shot. The alien commander tried to regroup, but his words were drowned by the chaos. Ship after ship vanished into explosions, until the fleet was nothing but wreckage drifting in silence. The galaxy's first true taste of human power had been delivered. Whispers across the stars. When the survivors' messages reached their empires, disbelief spread. How could humans, those fragile newcomers, wield such destruction? Some thought it was a lie, a trick to hide their own failures. Others feared the truth. In marketplaces and colonies, rumors grew. Merchants whispered, "Did you hear? Earth has built a monster ship." Soldiers asked, "Is it true the humans destroyed a fleet?" Children in far-off worlds repeated the story with wide eyes as if it were a legend. And in the highest councils, anger flared. To strike first was unforgivable. To destroy a fleet was open war. But beneath the anger, something else stirred: fear. For the first time, the galaxy looked at Earth not with dismissal, but with respect and with worry. The human choice back on Earth. The news of victory spread through secret channels. The people still did not know the full truth, but whispers reached them. Something had happened near the stars. Something that proved humanity was no longer helpless. Inside the command halls, leaders studied the enemy's response. They knew retaliation was coming. Fleets would gather. Armies would march. The galaxy would not forgive this strike, yet they also knew there was no turning back. The resolute dawn had spoken. Humanity's voice had been heard in the language of fire and courage. The storm was no longer in the shadows. It was here, bright and burning, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy was wide, ancient, and full of powerful civilizations. Countless empires stretched across the stars, their fleets shining like moving cities, their weapons forged by centuries of war. For them, Earth was nothing more than a small blue world on the edge of mapped space. To the great councils, humanity was young and unimportant. They were curious, yes, even clever, but not ready to challenge powers that had ruled the stars for thousands of years. Most alien records marked Earth as developing. It was a place to observe, a world to trade with, but never a world to fear. Many empires sent hidden ships to watch the humans, recording their progress from orbit. The humans built machines, launched satellites, and traveled to their nearby moon. To the watchers, it was amusing. These humans worked hard, but they were still trapped in their own star system. They had no great fleets, no vast colonies, no empire to call their own. Yet the aliens were wrong. Beneath the calm oceans and green continents of Earth, something stirred. Humanity had been through endless wars, disasters, and challenges in their short history. Every war had left scars, but also knowledge. Every disaster had taught them to rebuild stronger than before. That spirit, that endless drive, was something the alien councils did not understand. In secret, away from alien eyes, Earth was preparing for something greater. The hidden planet began with whispers in government halls. Leaders of Earth knew the galaxy was not empty. Strange signals had been intercepted. Unexplained objects had been tracked moving beyond the solar system. At first, they tried to deny the truth, afraid of what it meant. But soon, the evidence became impossible to ignore. Humanity was being watched. Some leaders argued that they should wait, stay quiet, and hope the galaxy left them alone. Others believed silence was dangerous. If the aliens ever decided Earth was weak, they would take control without mercy. Humanity's history showed what happened when one civilization met another unprepared. Always. The stronger side dominated the weaker, so a secret plan was born. Deep underground, far from satellites and spies, facilities were built. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers were quietly moved there. Their families thought they were working on energy projects or research programs. But the truth was different. The greatest minds of Earth were working together on one single goal: to build a ship that could defend the planet, a ship that could strike if danger came. It was called Project Dawn, forging the Battleship. The work was slow, full of failures, but humans were stubborn. Every mistake became a lesson. Every broken prototype taught them a better design. Decades passed and technology advanced, using their understanding of physics, energy, and new materials. The scientists created weapons no alien had ever seen. Where most species had followed a long and careful path of progress, humans often took bold risks. Sometimes they failed, but sometimes, those risks gave them results far faster than anyone expected. At the heart of Project Dawn was the battleship itself. It was unlike anything humans had built before, vast, sleek, and deadly. Its hull was forged from alloys mixed with elements mined from deep within Earth and its moon. Its engines were designed to move faster and farther than any previous human craft. And its weapons, they were crafted with human creativity, designed not just to match alien firepower but to outthink it. The ship was given a name, Resolute Dawn. It was more than metal and circuits. It was a symbol of Earth's will to survive. Watching eyes, but Earth's secret was not entirely safe. Across the stars, alien observers grew curious. They noticed strange movements of resources, unusual signals, and hidden launches. Reports were sent to their councils, but most leaders dismissed them. Humans are reckless, yes, they said, but they cannot leap ahead so quickly. Let them play with their machines. They will not threaten us. Still, some alien officers were uneasy. They remembered how dangerous young civilizations could be when underestimated. A few ships were sent closer to Earth's space, disguised as traders or explorers. From orbit, they watched the humans, wondering what secrets the blue planet was hiding. They saw rockets rising. They saw space stations expanding. But the humans were clever. The real work was hidden, far from alien sensors. The human spirit on Earth, people did not know the full truth. Ordinary citizens continued their lives, working, studying, and dreaming, unaware of the vast secret beneath their feet. But in the hidden facilities, those who worked on Resolute Dawn felt the weight of history. They knew this was not just about building a ship, it was about survival. The scientists remembered Earth's past wars when stronger powers tried to crush weaker ones. They knew humanity's chance of peace depended on strength. If Earth stood weak, it would be conquered. If Earth stood strong, it could earn respect. Soldiers trained day and night, preparing for a battle that might come tomorrow or years from now. Engineers tested new systems, pushing them to the edge. Sometimes the experiments exploded, sometimes the machines failed, but every failure brought them closer to success. The project united people who once stood apart. Nations that once distrusted each other shared knowledge and resources. For the first time in history, humanity worked as one world, one people, building a shield and a sword for their survival. A quiet storm. As the years passed, the Resolute Dawn grew closer to completion. Its engines roared in secret tests beneath the ocean. Its weapons fired silent beams across underground ranges. Slowly, the dream became reality. The alien councils still watched, but they remained blind to the truth. They saw a young world still limited to its own star, still fragile and learning. They had no idea that deep below, Earth was preparing to step into the galaxy not as prey, but as a hunter. No one expected Earth to strike first. No one imagined that a young species could build something that could challenge fleets that had ruled the stars for ages. But in the shadows of the galaxy, the storm was already forming, and soon the battleship would emerge.